So I went and looked up postpartum depression for dads. And one of the things that jumped off at the screen at me was separating yourself from your family. And that's one thing that I did. My wife asked me, she was like, "Are you happy to have a child?" I was like, "Yeah." I was just going through something. I had a daughter that was, being breastfed. So it's like, will my daughter ever love me?
Compost and Kalvin and Cornrows.
Welcome to the Compost, and Cornrows podcast, and I'm your host, Dominique Drakeford. Today, we're talking about Black fatherhood, postpartum depression in dads, vulnerability, healing, and what it means for men to build community instead of suffering in silence. Joining us is Kalvin Bridgewater, founder of Daddy Stroller Social Club, who is creating transformative spaces for fathers to heal out loud. Let's get into it. All right, Kalvin Bridgewater, founder of Daddy Stroller Social Club. Thank you so much for joining the pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited for this conversation. And before we get into all that you've learned and built through this movement, I want to ground the conversation by asking, how do you define sustainability?
For me, it's family. And that's simply off because of cultural wise, I'm in Texas. So exactly how racist it is down here. Um, and just off the people that I lost in my family. So I lost my mom when I was 18 years old. I lost my baby brother a year ago. So
Sorry
for
to hear that.
me, it's more so family.
Yeah. And can I pull on that a little bit more? What about family that is rooted in this idea of sustainability?
So when you try to figure out who you are, and where you going, and for me, I always joke with my wife, especially about guys. We all just try to find something to touch. We all try to find something to grab because we always kind of feel lost. And family has always just kept me grounded because it reminds you of, first of all, where you came from. And then with my family now, it just lets me know where I'm going. Um, Having a wife and then having two daughters, two girls, right? So that's my family. So when I think about anything that I'm about to do, any decision I'm about to make, whether it's voting, whether it's out in the world, um, whether it's a conversation I'm having, I always try to be careful about what I put out into this world because it's a reflection on me, it's a reflection on my family, it's a reflection on the future for my daughters.
I know that's right.
So
Yeah.
that's why I say family.
Thank you. Thank you for grounding the definition in family. I think blood, DNA family, as well as chosen family, as well as the natural environment, ecosystem
Hmm.
family. I think all of those three tetherings together is the pulse and heartbeat of why we're doing this, and even ancestral, lineage family, right? And so I
Yes,
love this
yes.
idea of family. That's actually a definition or even just a word that I haven't heard in the definition of sustainability. So I
Mm,
appreciate that deeply. And it's very much in alignment with, um, the social club that you created, bringing awareness to postpartum depression in dads in particular through, family and education and wellness. And so I want to dig into first this postpartum bit. Are you here with me? You ready?
I'm ready. I'm
Oh,
ready.
you ready? Okay. So
I'm ready.
I've had 2 home births, and I
Mm,
have, a 4-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, and I remember a few times my fiancé mentioning he dropped that P word, mentioning postpartum and having postpartum symptoms, and I must have looked at him like he was crazy, and at the time, I can admit that I was ignorant thinking that postpartum was solely about, the chemical, hormonal, and mental changes that the female body goes through after delivery, when really postpartum is the time period after birth, period. And
Hmm.
so you've spoken openly about experiencing postpartum depression as a father, and I wanted to hear more about what that experience was as a bridge for creating your social club.
So, and I also want to start off by saying, I won't call you ignorant, especially the mom that's carrying a child and is
Mm,
going through birth, and then you say home birth, so you did that naturally, right? Our first child, we had a birth at the birth center. Then our
mm,
second child, we had a home birth, where I
okay.
got certified to be a doula, and I can help my wife with this home birth. So one thing that I experienced, right?
Wait, so
And
pause
I
real quick. You're a doula?
yes, yes,
Okay. All right,
yes.
cool.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have it. Hold on just a second. Give me
Yeah,
one second.
yeah. Come on, daddy doula. Come on,
Daddy
daddy
do.
doula.
So read my bag, take on my doula bag, it goes nowhere.
Hey,
You know,
community
follow me.
doula. Congratulations. That's dope.
Thank you so much. But
Yes.
yeah, so and it really just came from me asking my wife, understanding the struggles that we went through with our first child. Um, I was ignorant. I didn't attain the knowledge that I should have bringing a child into this world, especially a Black daughter at that, especially going through pregnancy with a Black woman, right? Because you look at the maternal mortality rates, and Black women rates are very high. So why not educate yourself on um, how to create a safe birth space? How to advocate more for your spouse during uh, the moment of giving birth. So I asked her. She told me that she needed me to know what she needed before she asked me. So in that realm, that's when I was just like, okay, let me educate myself. I had a friend that was in the stroller club. Um, his significant other was pregnant as well. And we was like, hey man, let's go into this together. So, we ended up doing a doula course. It was probably like 3 months, became certified doulas and yeah. But just to go back to your question about how that was for me. So in that 2 week checkup that my wife was in, and there was they was asking her about the symptoms she was going through, and we had our child the end of 2019, so we're
Mhm.
going into COVID, right? My family's from Waco, so it's probably like an hour and a half away from DFW, and her family's from Illinois, so didn't have that real family support, and it was during the wintertime, so that's where you can get seasonal depression off top. So she was answering the questions, and that's when they told her, I think you're experiencing postpartum depression. Now women and well, moms and dads, we experience similar things, but not necessarily the same. So I was like, dang. I was like, I'm feeling something too. So I went and looked up postpartum depression for dads. And one of the things that jumped off at the screen at me was separating yourself from your family. And that's one thing that I did. My wife asked me, she was like, are you happy to have a child? I was like, yeah. I was just going through something. I had a daughter that was, being breastfed. So it's like, will my daughter ever love me? My first time hearing my dad tell me he loved me, I was 30 years old. So that was one of the things that I struggle with because I wanted my daughter to know I love her. I want my wife to know I love her. But, we going through this season of change, me not understanding how to be a father, me not understanding that fathers go through things and we have these feelings. And when you brought up the hormonal change that women go through, then they're doing research and then they're finding out that dads are going through these hormonal changes as well. Then they're doing this research and understanding that I want to say 50% of the dads that experience postpartum depression, their spouse experienced postpartum depression as well. But yeah, I just saw myself like going through something and having this cloud over my head and trying to separate myself from my family, not because I didn't love them, because I didn't want them to feel what I was feeling, right? And it's COVID, so we're in the house. My
Mm,
wife, she's looking at me, ain't no running away. Ain't
mm,
no going to the store, ain't no going to the gym. No, you in this house. So when I told her that, I was like, I think I'm experiencing postpartum depression in dads. I'm not sure if that's very common. And then we found out, 1 in every 10 dads experience postpartum depression. And we had that conversation and that talk. And she was so relieved because she thought she was going crazy.
mm.
She thought she was going through this alone. And when she found out that we were both going through it, we were supposed to experiencing symptoms. I think I picked up 40 pounds, right?
Mm.
Doing the postpartum depression that I was going through. So that's another symptom that you experience. And then my wife, like I said, my wife, she's a birth photographer. So she's in this space where she has doulas and midwives as friends, birth workers as friends, mom groups, lactation specialists that she get to talk to. Kalvin didn't have anybody. I had a few
Mm.
friends that had kids around the same time, and we were all going through it. And we didn't figure out what we should be going through until we had that initially first meet up, and I was telling them what I was experiencing. And they didn't quite understand postpartum depression, especially for dads. And you talking about some young fathers. We didn't understand postpartum depression for our spouse.
Mm.
Let's put that out right now. Like
Right.
we didn't understand what our spouse was going through.
Yep.
So yeah, those are a few things that kind of jumped off at the screen at me going through that time.
Yeah. And I mean, the challenges of peak COVID. I had my son in what's the math? And also COVID was such a blur and back to
Man,
back births. So I'm like, dang, what year did I have Sage? In
COVID lasted for 20
2021. I had him in
years.
2021. So and
Yeah, and we were
so
still going through it.
and we're still going through it. That's real. And to your point, one of the most, I think, important things that my partner, my fiance could have done was to connect with other Black fathers for his well-being, for his healing. Um, because there's comfort and there's communion and there's refuge in your partner. There's all of these beautiful things in your partner. But I think in the beginning stages of having, especially that first child,
Mm,
um, that first one, having a community, a ecosystem outside of your partner is so healing and it's so necessary. And quite frankly, especially for dads, and it's not talked about enough. What is one of the sort of beautiful things that came out of you being a pioneer? I'm gonna call you a pioneer, fuck it. You being a
right.
pioneer in the fatherhood wellness movement space. What is something that what's something that especially from the men that you're in community with, what's something that's really, really beautiful that you saw that shocked you in building this social
Mm.
club?
I say one of the things that shocked me, again, being a Black male, being raised in a Black household, we are always taught to be strong, don't show no weakness because, um, you know, you're carrying a family, you're the leader of this family.
Yep.
And one thing that I love with my wife, she encouraged me to be vulnerable. She encouraged me to speak my truth. And one thing that's really shocked me, I think the first mental health event that we had, I invited a poet to come talk to us. So I was like,
Wow.
dads, we tend to like keep everything inside. I want to see if I can get some of these dads to start writing some of their feelings out. Before I can get y'all to start talking about them, write them out. Let the paper look at you. So the poet, he came and it was just like we just put the pens down and we just had like a big powwow. Like
Mm,
guys really just pouring in, really just crying, really just being supported. And I was like, this is something that was never taught, and it took me a few years to realize how big that was because I mean I had a few dads that came out that group that wrote books,
Mm,
wrote because I mean the initial thing was called Letters to Our Father.
mm,
And I know this one guy, he never had a relationship with his dad. Ended up like writing a letter to his dad and open up and being expressive. And I think that's one of the things that kind of shocked me was just watching all these men become men, right?
mm,
Like we sit here and say
mm.
that we're men, but I ain't never understand the importance of being a man. The importance of being a man is being vulnerable. The importance of being a man is opening up. It's not holding in because a little boy can hold anything in. A
Mm,
grown man gonna look at his faults. A grown man gonna look at his problems. A grown man gonna speak about them. And I'm watching all these men going home and talking to their spouse. Watching these grown men find out about postpartum depression and saying, you know what? Me and my significant other probably would still be together if I understood about postpartum depression, not just and what I was going through, for what she was going through. I thought she was tripping,
mm,
and you learn that, the job field will tell you, okay, after you have your child, take 6 weeks off, come back, you should be good. Take 6 weeks off and y'all can have sex. Nah, it takes,
no,
you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 years
that
for
part.
a woman to balance out. And when God started understanding that not only that their spouse was going through something, that they were going through something as well, and being able to open up um, that communication factor, being able to talk to their spouses, and their spouses reaching out to us, thanking us for this group, right?
Yeah.
Like thanking us for the support system that their husbands have. Realizing that they're opening up, realizing that not only is it helping them become a better person, but it's helping them become a better partner. We
Mm,
have a therapist on staff by the name of Dominique Anderson. He calls himself Big Black Therapist. He's
mm,
6'9", big guy, but one of these normally we have probably like 4 or 5 breakout sessions throughout the year. And we allow these dads to come talk to the therapist and allow him to put some input in their life. And he's been helped so many. He can help me so much, right? Like just developing that relationship with my child, developing that relationship with my wife, developing that relationship with myself. Like
mm.
self reflection. So I know that was a big, a long answer, but it's just when you reflect on it, it's just so much stuff has shocked me,
Yeah.
especially being majority African American males,
Yeah.
and having these dads come in this space and just open it up, not just to each other, but being able to go home and have those tough conversations with their spouses as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like for me, I don't know if you understood, and you probably do, but the weight of what you lifted up, like holding space for vulnerability for Black fathers and vulnerability being peak manhood, peak masculinity, like that to get to a point where that feels like a manifesto for your wellness, not only your wellness programming, but the paradigm shift in you as a person, as a Black man, as a dad, as a community leader is so dope. And so I just wanted to commend you for that.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
yeah, that's beautiful. And I guess I don't know if this goes without saying, but I'm assuming that indirectly, Black males who have attended your events or been in community with you and the other fellas and everything have become better communicators, um, to their partners, to their community, and to themselves. That's an assumption. Is that fair in assuming that?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. So this past month I had my first dad wellness retreat.
Mhm.
Where we took these dads, we went to the woods in Oklahoma and had these breakout sessions and enjoyed each other company and just being dads. And then looking at I say 97% of the dads that signed up didn't sign up. Their significant other signed up for them.
Interesting.
Yeah, and for the next retreat, we already have roughly around 100 signups, and looking through the emails, I say 85, 90% of those are their spouse signing them up
Hmm.
for these retreats.
What do you make of that?
I think that the work we are doing is very impactful,
Mm-hmm.
right? Allowing dads and moms just come together and realizing that they need space like this, or
Yeah.
seeing the change and seeing how hardworking and seeing how loving and seeing how caring their spouses to be like, you know what, I want to send you on this retreat.
Mm-hmm.
I want this to be something special for you, because one of the questions we asked during the retreat was, before this, wellness retreat, what's one thing that you did for yourself? And a lot of the dads, they couldn't figure it out because they didn't sign themselves up. And I was like, your spouse probably saw that. And I was like, one thing I want y'all to do is realize what they saw in you and go back and
Mm.
give it right back to them. When we out on we do meet us once a month, and we out here with the kids for 6 or 7 hours plus.
Mm.
We out here so long that our spouses call us and ask us, when
Y'all
y'all coming
good?
back? Y'all good?
Y'all good?
Um,
Mm.
but it allows them to, go, take a nap, read a book, go
Yes.
swimming,
Mm.
do something you enjoy doing. If it's just sitting in a house and listening to peace and quiet
Mm.
for 7 hours, right?
Yep.
So looking at how impactful it is in a household, how the mothers are encouraging their husbands to go to these monthly meetups, or to take time out for themselves, or to focus on their mental health, and watching these dads, um, not putting all that work on their spouse. Because, before this, the spouse had to do our doctor's visits for us, you know? So now it is okay, look, we know what we need and we know exactly what our spouse need. We need to start owning up and taking care of ourselves,
Yeah.
because the way that we're dying at an alarming rate right now, not from gun violence like they portray, but from our
Mm-hmm.
health issues,
Mm-hmm.
um, and seeing that these dads are taking accountability,
Yeah.
watching these dads go journal, watching these dads um, call their wives and FaceTime them and tell them how much they love them. And you go to the grocery store, you see more men with their kids than you see women with their kids now,
Mm-hmm.
grocery shopping. I feel like starting in 2019, um, and what we did, it kind of changed the world a little bit. I
Yeah.
used to be humble and I'd be like, man, it's not that big. But when you have people reaching out from you from Africa, when you have people reaching out from you from the UK, when
Mm.
you have people all over the country reaching out to you to start a chapter there, or you looking at other people that's like piggybacking off and trying to start an organization for their dads as well. You didn't see this before we started. I'm like, it's very impactful, and to see these moms being supportive and backing their men up to allow them to go in these spaces with their kids, trusting them with their kids, right? Like trusting the dad's gonna do right. These dads out here with 2-month-olds,
Mm.
you know, giving bottles, we have a firefighter that come out there and make sure that the dads are doing all the car seats correctly, so just seeing how impactful it is, and seeing that the moms are steady encouraging, and seeing that the kids are excited to be with their dads is simply amazing. And I
So good.
think that's showing a reflection of what we're doing as a community.
So good. I do want to get to the expansion of this social club. You mentioned Africa and London, etc. But a question arose when you were talking about your wellness retreats. I remember seeing photos and they looked phenomenal. Congratulations. Oklahoma, correct? Oklahoma?
Yeah, broken bones. Yeah.
Love it, love it. Um, was there intentionality for having a retreat sort of immersed in nature?
Yes, it
And what
was.
was that
So
impact on these Black men who may or may not be, have a relationship with the outdoors like that? But I saw the pictures and was like, "Oh, having Black men amongst the trees like this?
in
Yes."
the nature,
Yeah, let me know. Talk to me
eh,
about what that felt like and sort of that impact.
So, a few of us, we already kind of like get together and go hiking and um in that nature. But when I first started this organization, that's what I primarily want to do was do a dad wellness retreat in the woods,
Mm,
just to uh get these dads out these corporate offices, get these
yeah.
dads away from all this loud noise. And for me, like I said, man, I dealt with a lot of loss in my family. And anytime I'm going through something, I always put the kids in the stroller and I always walk outside and I always
Mm,
gotta touch some leaves. I always gotta let some sun hit me and I feel so much better.
mm,
It's so nourishing. And I'm doing research right now about Black men in the woods, in the nature, and how healing it is to your body, right? So getting these guys out here. We had a personal trainer come out there. He led through meditation in the mornings, morning stretches, morning workouts. We went ATVing and in the rain with the mud falling, just being free, just being open and just feeling a whole lot better about ourselves. We
mm,
sit outside till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, making s'mores, breathing in fresh air. And I knew it was going to be impactful to get some fresh air because before the retreat, me and my family, we went on a trip to Kigali. We went to Rwanda and we slept with our doors open and windows up the whole
mm.
week. And we got so much sleep and we felt so relaxed. I was
I
like,
bet.
fresh air is amazing.
Mm,
These stats just been out there and, we journal by the pool. We out here going hiking. We out here touching leaves. We out here jumping in mud, just being big kids again
mm.
and realizing and just feeling like youth come back to us in that environment was simply amazing. We felt so recharged going back home. And I honestly think it was just because we was outside like 70% of the time.
Yeah. And I mean, there there can be so many heavy conversations with getting
Like,
Black men, Black fathers together. Trauma can ooze out. Um, there could be just so much heaviness, and it seems like you're doing a great job balancing and creating space for joy as well. And I think that that juxtaposition of moving through trauma and just being unapologetically joyful, whether it's in nature, whether it's indoors, what have you, is an important blueprint for the wellness facets that you're building. So that's really, really dope. And it's funny because when I see your name, Stroller Social Club, it's very joyful and playful. But after speaking with you, and hearing just knowing that there's of course stories of loss and trauma, it's dope to see that both can coexist
hmm
within a stroller social club. But I love the layers and dimension that is brought to the space, which is dope.
thank you. Thank you. And I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want to be intentional um, when we start, starting these different chapters. And that's how we started this. I preach about not being the actual face. So when you look at DSSC, like you don't see my face everywhere,
yeah.
but you see a lot of
Mhm,
dads. You see a lot of dads with their kids,
mhm,
and when you think about it, so when you hear about it, it's always go back to postpartum depression. It always go
mhm,
back to mental health. Because I don't think that we need to be celebrated, right? Like
mm,
these monthly meetups is not to celebrate fatherhood.
mm.
Like what are we doing? We're just being
Interesting.
dads.
Mhm,
But this is to be a better person. This is
mm,
to be around as long as we possibly can. This is to develop that relationship with your kids. This is to figure out um, how to put one foot in front of the other. And I think that while doing that, we still have fun. We still get to sit around and talk. We still get to sit around and joke. We still get out there and play around and be kids. So
yeah.
I always want to make sure we educate them.
Yeah.
because a lot of these dads, a lot of dads that come in their first time parents, and they come with these questions, and I
Mm.
don't want them to keep coming with these questions and we don't have any answers.
Mm.
So
Mm.
whether it's the small things like, man, how can I be a better supportive partner?
Yeah.
Out of your kid, I mean, they newborns. I can't really do too much at this. Yes, you can.
Mm.
What are you doing on the 3 a.m. feedings? You know, are you there at least changing a diaper?
That part.
If she pumping, do you go, hey, you stay down? Because I don't think people understand like how much energy a mom gives just by breastfeeding. It's like running a marathon.
Ooh, that's a
So,
whole book in and of
you know,
itself to break
so we
down
just
for the
like,
fathers. Yeah,
yes.
no, that's real.
So we talk about that. We talk about, okay, um, the little side quest, like, okay, now figure out how to help your child go through these sleep progressions, right?
Mm.
Like even like little small things of brushing the kid forehead down to the nose to get the eyes to start slowly closing. I said, I mean,
Mm.
imagine how much your wife or your significant other would really enjoy if you go and put the kid down for a nap and she doesn't have to get up like she's been doing every 2 hours and
Mm.
trying to feed and trying to make, got all this stress on how to put the kid to sleep.
You know what came to mind is you're speaking about, I feel like fatherhood, especially for Black men, emotional intelligence. I feel like
Mm,
this is where the shift in maturity and emotional intelligence really develop.
yeah,
Is what you're speaking about right now, to be able to move with intention, to be able to use your intuition, to be able to ask and communicate in a way that probably initially feels uncomfortable or foreign. And
yeah.
so it's that emotional intelligence piece for Black fathers or for fathers in general,
In
but
general,
I'm talking
yeah.
about Black fathers right now.
Black Friday. Yeah, I feel you. I
Um,
feel you.
um, which I think is really, really beautiful. And to that point, and getting back to scaling and expanding this and making sure the nucleus of what you're building stays intact. What does it look like to expand um globally? I mean, continue to create chapters throughout the states, but expand globally while still making sure that the identity of what you're building and those rich conversations stays at the heartbeat and the foundation of what you've built.
So first off, it's stressful. It's
Mm.
time consuming because you have so many people that reach out and be like, like, I want to start this and
Mhm.
I want to bring this to my city. And I'm like, okay, cool. Fill out the application. They're like, application, of
Yeah.
course. Like I want to see if you're really putting your all into this, or if there's something that you just really just want to do just
Trendy.
because it went trendy, right?
Yep. Mhm.
So we put guys through the application process. We put them through interviews, and then once they are picked through the interviews, then they have 2 months of training they have to go through.
Wow.
So right now we're just finishing up our second training session. So we will be expanding. I want to say 9 more chapters, 9 or 10 more chapters, but it's very time consuming. I commend every dad that takes their time out to fill out this application. This just don't put yes and no answers. You put yes and no answers, we throw those applications out the way.
Mm.
Like how
Y'all ain't playing. I'm here for
no,
this.
I mean, especially when it's, especially when it's your brand. Like I tell
Yeah.
people all the time, like, man, I started this simply off of my daughter.
Mm.
So like, my oldest daughter, that's all she know about Daddy Stroller Social Club. She's excited, and I tell her all the time, like, you don't understand, but you have started a movement
Mm.
globally.
Come on,
You know,
daughter.
my daughter had been on the news so many times, and
And what's baby girl's name?
Nora, Nora.
Nora. Come
Yeah,
on,
Nora,
Nora.
she is simply amazing. And when I say outspoken, she is
Mhm.
very outspoken. She is not shy. She's the opposite of me and her mom.
Yeah.
And we realized the importance of just encouraging that. And
Yeah.
then thinking about and looking around like my daughter don't have to go find friends, you
Mm.
know. You get to meet up with her friends at least once a month. You know, these
Yes.
are hundreds of kids out there playing around, and these communities start, you know, building communities inside of the community. So we just had a birthday party, and got to be selective because she has so many friends now. You
Yeah.
know, you look around, it's like most of these dads are from, I met them through DSSC.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that that girl is amazing. My
I know that's
youngest,
right.
she's following right behind her. They have
It's the
a
blueprint.
wonderful, yeah, they have a wonderful, intelligent, special, courageous mom that they
Mm.
following right behind.
Come on, mom.
I got to give her all the credit. DSSC wouldn't be DSSC if it wasn't for my wife, who
Mhm.
encouraged me to start this,
Come on,
who,
backbone.
the backbone, who put on her admin hat and, you know, helped me organize certain events. Again, she's a photographer, so she's, you know, an artist.
Mhm.
So she helped me create these moments. She's right there beside me, and you know, my daughters get to watch that, and you know, and sometimes like you have to catch yourself because they are strong minded like their mom.
Mhm.
And one thing that we like to encourage is letting them become who they need to become.
Yes.
Um, my wife, she's a Montessori student,
Mm.
went to public school, and I always joke about how public school teach you how to go to work for 5 days, go on your lunch break for 30 minutes, and be off on the weekend. And what
Mm.
Montessori is teaching us so much more, and who she is and who she's becoming. And, you know, I mean, that's a whole nother story I can go down. But yeah, I just want to make sure, especially before I get off this, man, how much my wife has meant to not just me, but to this organization.
I know that's right. Shout out Carmen Bridgewater. Yes,
So, yeah.
sis. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I love how much you pour into wifey and give wifey her flowers while still centering Black men and Black fatherhood. And I think that balance is critical. So thank you for that. And just
And
thank
I
you for creating this space
thank you.
where we could talk
And,
about postpartum depression and mental health and parenting support and emotional support and familial communal support. So thank you so much for this,
And one
Kalvin.
thing, not to cut
Yeah,
you
yeah.
off, one
No, no,
thing that
no.
I
Do
want
your
to
thing.
say,
Yeah.
because we get these questions a lot.
Mhm.
When they were like, okay, I see is nothing but Black dads there. Am I invited? And one thing that I made sure was I made sure to open up this space for everybody.
Right.
You know, it started from a Black man. Now, coming to this space, you have to respect this space.
Mm.
And you know, a lot of dads do. And you still get those questions like, you say that, but all I'm saying is Black dads. Well, if you go look at the facts, you see Black dads been showing up for their kids forever.
Mhm.
And when
Mhm.
I open
Despite what
these
they say.
doors up, despite what they say, and when I
Mm.
open up these doors, you know, I don't say, you can't come, you can't come. You can come. Yeah, all can come. These are the dads that's showing up. You know,
Yes.
so whenever they paint that picture of they're not in the household, yes. I say 90% of these dads, especially in Dallas, in the DFW, 90% of these dads are married.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
we're in this household with Black women. So, and one thing that we like to educate is that support. This is not the 1950s.
Mhm.
We're not milkmen
Mm.
going on a job while the women are staying at home, taking care of the kids, and that's paying the bills. No, again, when you look at these numbers, you
Mhm.
know, I think the highest rate of college graduates is Black women.
Mm. Mhm.
So, you know, it just don't fall on them fellas. It
Yeah.
fall on
No,
all of
that's
us.
real.
So, you know, we make sure that these dads, man, are learning how to make quick meals for their families. We learn teaching these dads how to, um, be involved with the cleanup. This is not I'm a leader. No, 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 no. me and my wife, we both lead. And I'm pretty
That
sure that
part.
you and your significant other are both
Mm,
leaders as well.
that part.
So yeah, it's just one of the things that I
That
just
old
want to
school
touch base
mentality
on.
out the window.
Yeah, it's out the window.
Out the window. But I appreciate the fact that, this is for any cultural group and Black fathers are centered. But if there's somebody who is not Black who is coming in, you must respect what you see and what you feel. And I think that there's a critical point there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's teaching other cultures to respect and have this paradigm shift around Black fatherhood. And so I think that I'm glad that you lifted that up because that is critical. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you. And before we close, I just want to end with something that I am calling the sustainability soundtrack because, sustainability isn't just about what we grow or what we make. It's also about what we feel, which you've expressed
Mm,
here. So we're going to do a couple of rapid questions. All
okay.
right.
All
So
right.
what song is bringing you joy right now?
Um, so one song that I listen to every morning now is Cranes in the Sky by
Okay.
Solange.
Yep. Yep. Love it. What song helps you heal or decompress when life feels heavy?
Mm, got a lot of those. And I'm gonna say it's not one song, it's one album. So Big
Mm,
Crit is probably my favorite artist. The Forever and a Day soundtrack from start to finish. I can listen to that, and because he go into depth about his
Brother
grandma. He
loves
go
you.
into he go into
Yeah.
depth about growing up in the South. So I can listen to him. I can listen to that album all day, and it just kind of like spark me up and get me ready to go.
Nice. And what song to you sounds like sustainability? It could be ancestral, Afrofuturism, earthy, radical. What song
Mhm.
is synonymous with sustainability?
What's the name of that song? It's a Kendrick Lamar. It's off of you know what? I can go with "We Gonna Be All Right" by Kendrick Lamar.
Boom. Boom. We gonna be all right. Synonymous with sustainability is A1. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Can't wait to add those songs and albums to the sustainability soundtrack. Um, and Kalvin, how can people stay in touch with you and or Daddy Stroller Social Club and be able to find what's popping and what you're building?
Yeah, I always tell people, man, make sure y'all go to the website,
Yeah.
www.daddystrollersocialclub.com. You can sign up for the newsletters. With those newsletters, we give y'all access to special events that we're doing. You can go to our Instagram page and check out all the different chapters we have and go follow them and see what's going on in their areas. And I can't not mention some more sign up for the newsletters because some of the dads that sign up for the newsletters this weekend after Stride in Dallas, like we had to go to a Janet Jackson concert just because they were paying
Mhm.
attention to the newsletter. So I
Mhm.
always, make sure you sign up for the newsletters. Again, follow us on Instagram, Daddy Stroller Social Club, and you can look through and find out which one is in your area. It's normally Daddy Stroller Social Club and it'll be an underscore. So it could be underscore DMV, underscore Seattle, underscore Houston, underscore Atlanta, underscore Memphis, underscore Cleveland. Like we got them out there. We steady dishing them out. So like I said, be on the lookout for Detroit and Miami and Orlando and San Antonio and Nashville and Phoenix. So we'll be, hopefully by the end of next year, we'll be in every city, um, country.
I know that's right. Thank you so much for joining the pod. And that is a wrap. If this conversation moved you, then share it with a father, partner, or family member who deserves to know that they don't have to navigate fatherhood alone. See you next time.
Compost and Kalvin and Cornrows.
We've turned nothing nothing to go. Since the birth of our soul, it's ingrained in our root. Black is more than flesh and bone, planted deep in our code, and we bear the fruit. Yeah, they wonder how our stride's so bold, and our pride stone cold after all we've been through. Rich as the texture of our crown, 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 we pass it on to the youth.